On Google, you can find a lot of information on how to catch a cheater. In China, you will find many videos on social media about catching the mistress and beating up the mistress. There was a shocking story on Daily Mail where an angry wife publicly undressed her husband's pregnant mistress and stomped on her stomach with high heels. People in the comments wondered, what happened to the cheating husband? Welcome to Red Eastern True Crime. Today we won't be discussing a specific crime. Instead, we're going to explore the trend of beating up the mistress. In many countries, you might see a situation like this when a husband or boyfriend is caught cheating. In China, however, you will often see many such cases. Why do many Chinese wives choose to beat the mistress rather than the husband after he cheats? The simplest answer is that they can't physically overpower him. This is an answer from Zhihu, which is like a combination of Quora and Reddit. In China, when people talk about beating mistresses, they often talking about wives physically abusing and humiliating the women involved with their husbands. Even within China, many people question why the punishment targets the mistress and not the cheating husband. Today, I will try to give some insight into this. There are roughly 3 scenarios when it comes to confronting the mistress. In the first scenario, the wife may catch her husband and the mistress in the act in a hotel room or apartment. Usually, the wife is accompanied by relatives or friends in such situations. It's rare for the wife to go alone. In some smaller hotels, the wife may even get the room key without knocking by bribing the hotel staff. The second scenario involves the wife catching her husband and lover in a public place, such as a street or a shopping mall. In most cases, the wife is accompanied by relatives or friends, and sometimes she's with her children. Alternatively, the wife may confront the husband and mistress alone. In the third scenario, the wife, along with relatives and friends, strategically blocks the mistress when she's out alone. When a wife catches the mistress, she often resorts to actions such as hair pulling, slapping, kicking, and sometimes even cutting the mistress' hair. These confrontations are videotaped. Some wives may also slap their husbands in this situation. In response, husbands may react different ways. Some may remain passive and even find the situation amusing. Others may become protective of the mistress. Interestingly, the more a husband defends the mistress, the angrier and the more aggressive the wife becomes. Many mistresses who are subjected to violence, especially in hotel situations, usually don't report the incident to the authorities and often don't have the opportunity to do so. If a wife were to physically confront her husband and he were to retaliate or become aggressive, it would indeed be a dangerous situation. In such cases, the husband is not only harming his wife, but possibly his children as well. Many wives who confront the mistress often come from diverse backgrounds. Some are homemakers, some work alongside their husbands in businesses, and some hold regular jobs. They typically embody traditional female values, prioritizing their homes and children. They take care of the household and sometimes even care for their husband's sick parents. Some use their connections and financial resources to help their husbands with business or career advancement. They've been through difficult times with their husbands, and now their husbands are financially stable. They engage in affairs with younger, attractive women, showering them gifts, luxury vacations, and even purchasing properties. These wives feel intense jealousy and anger, but most of all, they want to avoid divorce. So they confront the mistress, release their emotions, and demand that the mistress leave their husbands. This public confrontation puts social pressure on both the husband and the mistress. Although the mistress is the one who is physically harmed, she is the one who is morally condemned. If the husband works in a state-owned enterprise or the government, he may leave the mistress for the sake of his career. The higher your social status, the less likely you are to publicly confront the mistress. In cases where the husband holds a high government position or is an executive in a state-owned enterprise and may have multiple mistresses, these wives typically avoid physical confrontation with their mistresses. Instead, they tend to focus on maintaining the overall situation. Some wives of high-ranking officials or corporate executives not only refrain from confronting the mistresses, but may even go so far as to personally invite them over, entertain them, or even cook for them at home. For celebrities or wealthy individuals, most wives not only avoid physical confrontation with mistresses, but also tend to hide the unhappiness in their marriages. In China, the consequences of physical confronting a mistress are often minimal. On platforms like Zhihu, many people ask questions like, is it a crime to beat up your mistress? What's the experience of beating up the mistress? Can I beat up the mistress? How can I confront my mistress more aggressively? Should I hit the mistress? Why don't mistresses fight back when wives hit them? Why do they target the mistress instead of the cheating husband? It's precisely because of this so-called moral judgment that law enforcement often plays down or drags its feet when dealing with family dispute, marital conflicts, or relationship problems. They tend to take actions only when things escalate to an irreparable moral crisis. For example, when women in certain regions of China are kidnapped and forced into marriage and childbirth in rural areas, if they manage to escape and report it to the police, the authorities may not treat it as a case of human trafficking. Instead, they categorize as a family dispute and encourage the abducted women to return to their so-called husbands for the sake of their children. Mistresses who are physically assaulted rarely report the incidents themselves. Sometimes it's their friends or bystanders who call the police. When the police do arrive, they often handle the situation delicately, taking serious action only when the violence is severe and can be ignored. Even then, it's usually treated as a civil dispute, with the woman offering compensation to settle the matter, rather than as a criminal case that could lead to the arrest and the persecution of the person responsible. The recent case of Fu Weiwei, who fatally stabbed her estranged husband Michael Simpson and injured his girlfriend, is an extreme example of mistress confrontation that law enforcement couldn't avoid. In such cases, the authorities has to do their job. That is why you sometimes hear about people in China say, I just hate her, I can always pay some money if necessary. Confronting the mistress is not an easy task. It requires the right timing, circumstances, and people involved. It involves in gathering information, making a plan, executing it, and having an escape plan. You need a clear understanding of the mistress' daily routine and the ability to block her accurately. Having supportive allies, such as close friends or family members, is crucial for help and strategy. Sometimes you may even need physically strong adult children, nephews, or nieces to help. All of this takes a significant amount of time, financial resources, access to transportation, and well-established social connections. If you don't do your homework, there's a good chance you will attack the wrong person. An example of this is when the wife smashes a bottle at a girl only to realize that they have attacked the wrong person. In this case, the wife was aware of her husband's affair and decided to catch them in a hotel with the help of her friends. When they entered the room, the mistress remained hiding under the blankets. The wife violently pulled back the blankets, only to discover that it was another man, which led to her immediate collapse. It's worth noting that homosexuality is still illegal in China, and social acceptance is relatively low. Many men, despite knowing their homosexual orientation, still marrying women and have children due to family and social pressures. In another incident, a woman blocked her husband and the mistress in a car. However, she didn't anticipate that they would refuse to get out of the car and, discarding her safety, still forcibly drive while dragging her. This particular mistress wasn't a real mistress. She claimed to be dating the man, but they had met on a dating application where he presented himself as single. Accompanying the woman during this confrontation was her mother, who joined in and scolded the mistress for disrupting her daughter's family. Interestingly, this woman was once victim of her husband's infidelity, but later founded a company dedicated to professionally confronting mistresses. She pursued this career for 30 years, physically confronting over 8,000 mistresses in the streets. She was even imprisoned at some point. She eventually gave up because of public pressure and the difficulty of running her business. On Zhihu, a young woman shared her experience of participating in the confrontation with her aunt's husband's mistress. She explained that her aunt and her aunt's siblings went to the hotel where the cheating husband was staying. They paid for a room key, barged in, and immediately her aunt grabbed the mistress by the hair, dragged her to the floor, and began screaming "bitch." Her aunt, along with 2 other women, began physically assaulting the mistress, while other men blocked the cheating husband and engaged in a heated argument. Eventually, the cheating husband also received a few slaps. The person who posted the story personally intervened, separating the hands that were holding her aunt's hair. She even went to the bathroom, filled a cup with water, and splashed the cheating husband. She admitted that it felt quite exciting. In parentheses, she admitted that such actions were wrong, but she couldn't resist because she thought the mistress is irritating. Physically confronting the mistress is, in fact, a counterproductive approach that does nothing to address the real issues between spouses. This approach is not the choice of civilized or intelligent people. It's a sign of inequity, stemming from an inability to address marital crisis, handle conflict, or deal with internal turmoil. It's also a way to avoid facing the real underlying problems, which is why some people resort to confronting the mistress. While many observers condemn the mistress, they also highlight the wife's character flaws and the public exposure of her family marital failure, which can seen as a rejection and humiliation of her personal upbringing, years of education, social experiences, and interpersonal skills. I hope none of our friends ever have to experience betrayal in your lives, but if you do, I hope you can handle it in a civilized and rational manner. The main question here, however, is when will China's legal regulations and enforcement become more robust? What do you think about confronting the mistress in public in China? Please share your opinions and views in the comments. Thanks for watching my video. I will see you in the next episode.